What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Sunday afternoon full of baseball, full of bets. That's right. I'm Dave Gleckner, other known as Gleck, and that's Tech Money, other known as Tech. And it's the Gleck and Tech Show here on the Heat Ratio Sports Network. We're bringing you the smoke today, the MLB Smoke Shop. What's up, Tech?
What's going on, Glock? What's going on? I love the theme. And look, I went into my crate, pulled out my pair of Versace, keep it funny. And I'm coming with the shades, man. I'm coming with the swagger today. I had to get on par with you at the least, I should say. But I'm rowdy and I'm ready.
I love it. Now, that's not some Cowtown material, right? That's some real Versace, right?
Yeah, I saved up once for maybe one of the winning bets from a few years ago when I used to stay hot.
I love it. Well, we're going to get hot today. Let's go into the MLB card. I'm going to open up with you. You have a couple first five bets. Let's roll into your first one.
Yeah, the first one here I'm liking. I think a lot of people might already be on this because it's just something that I think it's easy to see. I'm taking the Houston Astros first five run line. Now, I was waiting to bet it live on the show, and I bet it just right before the show started. So I actually ended up getting a different line. What I got is minus 130, minus 0.5. When I was looking at it earlier, it was minus one at, I believe, plus 105. That's fine. Hey, if we can get one run, we win this bet. The only reason it's just funny is I was tweeting it out. Hey, I have something on my mind that's at plus 105 run line. Well, now it's minus 130. There's a price change, but they took the hook off. So it's kind of in our favor. But I like that. That's where I'm at. I'm with the Astros first five. Run line, that's one of my two bets. And what I like about this is we're attacking Patrick Corbin. And that's just the simplified. You guys all know it. All the people watching baseball, they know Patrick Corbin, what he can do. And I'll keep it very basic. He's given up 316 batted balls in play going back into last year. And I think that's critical this year because it's hard to come by offense. So if we can get data that's showing us registered things happening, we got to really grasp that and run with it. So I see batted balls in play at 316. His home runs per nine is also 1.67. That's high. That's good for us in this situation. I like to see it at 2 or above, but it's good to see where that's at. So I'll take that. Another thing I like to see is, again, remember, we're talking about anything that's getting registered because that's what counts this year more than just contact. Hard hit percentage for Corbin, 41.5%. That's high. Above 40% is great. And going back to last year, he's striking out below 20%, 19.2%. Anything below 20 is a red flag to me. Mm-hmm. That can be a situation where the other team, I think, if they're disciplined enough, they'll take advantage of it. So I think this is a situation where you do have an Astros team that does come in disciplined. I think we know that. So they should be able to work around that low K rate that they're throwing out there. And just to mention on that note, Astros have a run total today, third highest in the league at 4.9. Okay. They do bat 291 against lefties. Corbin's a lefty, but I think this is a game where the Astros might be able to increase that average because they're going against someone that's giving up stuff, batted balls in play, like I said, 316. Now here, just to sum it up as well, Corbin does give up 376 to the right side of the plate, and you got Altuve leading off. Then you skip one, you got Bregman, you skip another, you got Gurriel, Diaz, Siri, McCormick, Maldonado. So you know Houston's going to bring some disciplined right-handed batters, and that's basically Corbin's biggest weakness is pitching to the right side of the plate. So to keep it simple there, man, I just really think the number one weakness between the two starting pitchers, I didn't say the other side. You have Justin Verlander. I think the weakness here is Corbin. You have the strength of the Houston bats, which we didn't go into too much details. I just think the Houston bats have the better advantage to take advantage of Corbin, where Verlander has a better situation to hopefully stay in control and in check and keeping that Nationals offense tamed. That's why I like Houston to win the first five.
I like it. And so here's one thing I was looking at earlier today, and I'm glad we didn't collaborate before this, but the one thing with Verlander, listen, he's had 3 road start this year. 8 innings, 7 innings, 8 innings. If you remember the first one, almost a no-hitter. So we're talking 23 innings, 1 earned run, 0.39 ERA. He's much more comfortable on the road. You're in a situation, yes, Washington does hit right-handers pretty well, but I really like the craftiness of Verlander and the way he's been pitching, especially on the road. I think you get that 1-run lead after 5 just because I think he shuts them down as he has been every other opponent on the road.
I like that. Yeah.
So let me jump into mine real fast. And listen, I'll give you a quick first five for me as well. Looking at the Pittsburgh Pirates, -1, little juiced up to 160 on DK, but I'm okay with it because it's Hunter Green. Hunter Green owns the highest WAR on Fangraphs of this pitching slate, -0.6. His ERA is 7.6. Out of his 6 games, he's lit up runs in every single game. The lowest output was 2, and that was last week against Milwaukee in 5 1/3. He just doesn't have it yet. And I know it's Cincinnati, right? They're just a train wreck of a team. So they're just going to keep throwing him out there and try and develop him through, learning and pain. And they won't care. They're not sending him back. The kid throws smoke, got it, but he can't control it, can't harness it. His walk rate is almost, a walking inning. He's somewhere in the 6+ range. I think the Pirates can attack. And as you spoke earlier with the righty versus lefty situation, the Pirates actually have a lot of good lefties. Vogelbach, one of them. Reynolds, we always like. And then you look at a guy like Cabrian Hayes. He's just really started to come into his own in his second year in the majors. So I like them -1 in the first 5. And I would also tempt to take the over 2.5. I hate over 2.5 in the first 5, but it's Hunter Green, and I'm getting -105. So I think I can almost hedge myself here with the -1 if I lose the 2.5, but I'm going to play both today. I like the Pirates over the Reds.
Well, you convinced me. I was only going to take my 2 MLB bets. I think when I get a second after this show, because I don't want to take attention away from us and the followers and viewers, I'm tailing you. But I'm going to tail the first 5 angle of the run line. Just haven't had luck myself with these team totals. And I don't want to bring my jinx to you, DG. But I like what I see here. And listen, I think you saw it last year too. If there was people out there that were just casual cappers, casual bettors, and they tried to keep going at the Pirates, it wasn't working. They played pretty disciplined until they got that big trade-off. You just remind me a little bit of that tonight when you got the Ben Gamels, the Reynolds switch,
Gamel too,
and the Vogelbach, the Sutsugos, that left side of the plate, my goodness, man, against Hunter Green. I think this is just a spot you have to take, or it's like, well, why are you even showing up on a Sunday to cap baseball games?
Yeah,
that's how I'm looking at it, Glock. So I think I'm with you, and I'm going to pull the guns out and just take a quick peek at DraftKings. But I'm with you, man. And it's a good spot for Quintana to just continue to say, hey, look, I'm here, and I'm present, and I still want to make my presence here. And what a beautiful place to be at Pittsburgh today at home with the sun out. God, as you're going over the game, I was thinking, I wish I was there.
Yeah, and they haven't hit the Reds well in this series. They've only scored 5 runs in 3 games, but that just tells me it's due for a little regression. We're talking about the 9-25 Reds. We're not talking about the 2000 Yankees.
Right, and what I'm looking at quickly here too is, and you might have covered this if I say it again, Pirates are actually batting .345 to the left side of the plate.
Yeah.
That is very high. That's basically like the 4th or 5th highest of the slates out there today of teams, of offenses out there. And Hunter Green driven up .396 to the left. We know small sample size. I get it, I'm sure. But I think in this type of season, when you have a small sample size, the consistency in the small sample size, and if it correlates against what the overall theme is. So what am I saying here? What I'm saying is, what we see in Hunter Green as he's given up a lot of junk, a lot of stuff. He's attackable, but he's attackable in a season where almost nothing is attackable versus your memory and your muscle memory of looking at MLB stats or capping for the last so many years. Last year started transitioning, so you started getting a whiff of it. So if you're a guy like Hunter Green that's having trouble this year, that's a guy you got to put on your list to make sure every week you're ready to go and attack, or at least take a look to see. And I think today's a day you get it at a discount because people say, it's the Pirates. Because if Hunter Green was going to play the Phillies or someone else, you get a lot of that. Oh, I'm going to pop in here today and I'm going to throw my 2 cents in and my $50 or $20 in on this guy. And it's going to get people wanting to do what they want to do. And another thing that I like about Hunter Green, and this is my pet peeve, and it's funny that it's taken so many minutes into a baseball show that I'm going to talk about my pet peeve, which is the ground ball percentage.
Let's hear it. Yep.
The ground ball percentage. It'll make or break your bet. Hunter Green is at 28% red flag. Anything below 38, it's in her favor. Whenever it's above 38, you can walk 3 guys. You can have 3 men on base with no outs, Glock. But that above 38% ground ball percentage just means you're 1 ground ball double play out away.
Yes.
So now you take first and second out. You got 2 outs, man on third. And then in this year's baseball, where you're not getting much power out, that guy's going to be left stranded too on third.
And your pitch count just went down. Double play ball.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
So there's that extended effect to it as well.
Yeah.
So this guy today, real quick, I'm going to filter it. Hunter Green is basically the lowest ground ball percentage. Second, there's 27 with Tyler Wells, but Hunter Green, and I think you're mentioning something about that earlier. Hunter Green's at 28% on the ground ball percentage. That's lovely. And guess what? 12% walk rate. Above 10% is a red flag. This is where you're just allowing too much junk, and now the ground balls aren't creating double play outs. This is a go to me. Here I am on a Sunday. I'm after this. I'm tailing you on this one. So,
he's allowed 11 home runs, almost 4 per game, 3.81. Have you seen a number like that, especially in today's MLB?
No, we haven't seen that. And what I'm going to do on the fly is I'm going to pull up Hunter Green on my Fangraphs. I didn't do it because I was just segregating the games I'm on.
Yeah.
But to your statement, he's at 3.81 HR per 9. That is ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
You can't find a number above 2 anymore.
And you're getting that this year.
Yeah.
In 2022.
Yeah. Yep.
323 batted balls in play. So let's look into this a little bit. How is this happening? Here's how this is happening. We don't have to look at the ERA. This is how this is happening. We mentioned that the walk rate's near 12%. So when the batter comes up, let's just pretend he's walking the first guy, right? Then he's got a hard contact of 42%, which means he's just hitting him. Even if it's a sacrifice, he's now allowing a runner to advance bases because the hard contact's driving the ball so deep. Yeah. Now the hard hits at 47.4%. So I didn't mention this. Anything above 40 in the hard contact, hard hit, and the fly ball percentage is a red flag. So we're talking about 42.1% hard contact, 47.4 hard hit. Fly balls at 52.6%. I don't think I've seen anyone that high this year.
It's the trifecta.
That's it. We're looking at all the numbers I used to attack for all the years that would do me well until this year, because it's hard to get the numbers. And if you get them, they're actually regressing because of the type of environment we're playing in, I'll call it. Home run, the fly ball percentage, 27.5. That's ridiculously high. We'll repeat ourselves, 3.81 HR per 9. This guy is a gas can. I know we're low on diesel in the Northeast, but you might be able to load up the diesel on this one. This guy's going on. This guy should be getting lit. Now I know why you're going over 2.5. I don't want to jinx you and bring my bad voodoo there. So I'll just do the run line because I see it at plus 100. Sorry, I see it at minus 120, and that's fine. Hey, I think they want juice on Sunday because we didn't go to church to throw it in the little bin.
That's all right.
Yeah,
we'll throw it next week. Let's go to your second game because I know you got another first 5 that you're loving.
You know what? In the second game, I'm here because of you, because you nailed the Marlins yesterday, which I loved, and I forgot to tell you because I was hyper about USFL and the Game 7s and everything. I've been kind of walking away from baseball for a few sessions to just get my mind straight, so I forgot about it. But you nailed the Marlins yesterday, and I wanted to do that. And I think on the flip side, you have to go the other way today. I'm taking the Brewers on the first 5. Run line. I got them at I'm drawing a blank of what I got it at. I think it was minus half with a little bit of juice, not much. I'm trying to pull it up, but my screen's freezing.
Yeah, are you on DK?
Yeah, on DK. So I took the Brewers at first 5 run line.
Yeah.
And and here's the main reason why. I'm still banking on Woodruff here. And look, I'm a guy where I actually never go against the Marlins. I just have this thing where I don't know what I've been trying to analyze myself. What's your biasness with the Marlins for the last few seasons? I just feel like it's not a team you just can easily pick on going against them. But today I am, and I just feel like maybe it's because I got my eye on them from yesterday. I think Woodruff can come in here and do a little bit of work. What I like about Woodruff is now we're looking at stats going into last season. 29.7% K rate. Very, very high. So above 28% to me is stellar, right? The walks are down at 6.4%. Below 10, we're looking really good. Ground ball percentage, 41.2%. So we're in that category where we're above the 38. So I want to see strikeouts. Maybe if he gets a hit up or something like that, I want to see what? I want to see a ground ball double play and boom, just kill that whole production there. Hard contact, 26.8%, very low. 34 on the hard hit, so we're 6% below the red light. Fly ball, 34%, 6% below the red light. Home runs per 9.95. Here's where we're going to kind of cap this off. And we're down in Miami. This is more of a pitcher's park. Yeah. I think this will help both pitchers out, but these numbers are just going to stay kind of where they are, I think, or will be supported by being down in Marlins Park. And 273 with the batted balls in play. And if I just take a quick peek over with what they're expecting, just some of these fantasy gurus and their numbers they run, right? They're expecting 3.37 total runs out of the Marlins today. I think that's one of the lowest of the slate. They're batting a decent 319 to the right, but remember that's capturing the season this year. But Brandon Woodruff, just overall this season now, this is this season's stat. He is keeping the left side tamed down at 251 and the right side tamed right at 279. So when I get nitpicky here, I think the Brewers pitching angle today here is on Woodruff's side. You get the right side of the plate, and he's pitching against an entire right lineup except the leadoff batter and Sanchez. He's coming with the left. Everybody else is coming to the right side of the plate. I didn't look at the plate IQ tool, GLOECK, because it'll give us a good idea of what pitches Woodruff might throw and which of these batters might hit him. I'm just staying very square with it. I just think Woodruff is the better pitcher. He's got the handedness advantage. And on the other side, you have Hernandez. I'm not putting too much faith in him on this. We'll go over some stats here again. Going into last year, 22.6% strikeout rate. He'll get his, but he's near that 20%, so he's not scaring me. If anything, he's towards the red flag, 2% off. So another guy, he's not walking a lot, 6.4% going into last year. Now, his ground balls are red flag going into last year at 36.2%, just about 2% below the below the 38. So that's one more thing I'll say. Hold on, I'm forcing it here now. I'm going to admit it. I'm forcing. I'm saying, look, I don't think the Marlins win 2 in a row, at least not at 5 if they're going against Woodruff. But Hernandez is the guy that's giving up the ground, that can't keep the ball on the ground. I'm telling you that ground ball percentage, if cappers, viewers out there, a lot of times, if you've been excited about something's going to happen, did it get crushed by a ground ball double play out? Just go back and think, and you'll probably start shaking your head like, oh, my God. Hernandez, 46.9% fly ball percentage. His hard hits at 36.9, so it's below the 40, but almost up there. But what I like is that fly ball is up at 46.9. That's very, very high. And here, remember, what did we just say? Marlins play in a pitcher's park. This isn't Hernandez's first home game, ladies and gentlemen. He's got a 2.32 HR per 9 going into last year when we've been playing with like the deadest of balls. And this guy, again, like Hunter Green, but at least Hernandez has a lot more sample size, is giving you 2.32 home runs per 9 at a baseball park that usually is susceptible to the home run and in a year that you're not getting much offense. And he's 289 overall batted balls in play last year. So to sum it up, I just think the Brewers have the pitching edge and they're attacking the pitching weakness, so much so that the Brewers should be able to sneak by the first 5 here. And that's why I'm on their F5.
I love it. Hey, Chris, thanks for checking in. And Tech, I'm going to tell you, listen, Woodruff has been absolutely awful on the road this year. He has 3 starts, a 12 ERA. Now, DraftKings post Marlins over 1.5 runs at plus money. I think we all know Woodruff is not going to stay at 12 ERA. And seeing that 1.5, a low number, gets plus money against a starter like this, I think they're starting to see similar lines that you are. I think Woodruff is in line for a better game today. So I love the pick and I love the play. We got one other question coming in. I'll answer this quick from Jovan, and then you can plug in too. Talking about your Astros, and Jovan, thanks for checking in. This guy's great at DFS. Let me just tell you.
Oh, man.
And anyway, so 2.5. Here's what scares me. if I go deep into Houston stats, they're actually 30th in batting average against left-handed pitching. Some of that is a little bit of, Alvarez from the left side and some of the other power bats. But bottom line is, I do think they will have the lead against the Nationals coming to the fifth. 2.5 is what scares me. I mean, plus money is beautiful, and Corbin stinks. I mean, he really stinks. I'm just worried about the 2.5. I might stay away from that one. And hope you win.
Right. Only comment I have, and it's a personal thing, I've been having so much trouble squeezing out 3 runs when I'm very confident we should get them. Now, you're getting Corbin here, man. I didn't check the box stats, but I'm assuming he's been giving up 3 in his first 5 every start he's had. If not, maybe he's like, I don't know. I
think his last one he didn't. That's why there's a little momentum.
Maybe, but it's probably a very strong percentage he has. Just remember, Houston – They're disciplined, and I'm looking at their stats as a team. They're above 10. They're above 10%. They're 10.2% walk rate, and I like that. 10 is the number when you got a pitcher allowing higher than 10, and the team's batting higher than walking higher than 10. That means they're coming to the plate. They're disciplined. What I like as a team here too for Houston is 21.5% strikeout rate as a team. Remember what we said: near 20 is that red flag. If you're 20 and below, pitchers aren't striking anyone out. So as a team, if you're batting near the 20, you're not striking out a lot. You put those two together, you get a good combination. What I do see what GLOECK was saying, so we're just going to get into the details because we're in them now, is some of the on-base percentage. You would think you'd get it higher out of Houston. They're down 20th in the league at 310. But this is a game against Corbin. So is this a game where the 310 gets elevated? That's what I would have to argue. Your WOBA's at 317, ISO at 175. I like that. But here's where it's silly, and GLOECK mentioned it, 228 team average as batting. And that's just something that's like, what's going on? Now, I know they went through some lineup changes in many of these games. Altuve was out some of these games. Whether you hate him or love him, it changes a lot up, I think, of their offense, of just the way they line up and do things. He's leading off today. I think that says something. I just see him blooping one in there, getting one right between the gap, and he's already on. I get that feeling. But I think this is a game that Astros may get a chance to raise their stats. So I can't – here's what I want to say, Jovan. If your stomach's and your gut's been on that over 2.5, you take it. I say you don't take it to give you an answer as an analyst, only because it's been hard to come by 3 runs. But that's just a square common thing anyone can say to us all year. So,
and I'll tell you, plus money on 2.5.
Plus money, it
makes me tempted. I mean, even though pointed out that they're last in batting average against lefties, they're 17th in weighted runs created plus, which is one category we love to look at from an offense, and they're 14th in isolated power. So they do have that potential to put up those runs. Corbin's only let up 1 home run this year. We know he's a fly ball pitcher. There is some potential in that line, Jovan. So I wouldn't say I'm not going to take it. I would just say go light. How about that?
I'll tell you what. This isn't the most accurate weather thing. I'll try to pull up and fly we're doing, but the one I'm looking at, high 78 degrees, and the wind was blowing out. You can't count the wind; it was just chump change, but it's blowing out. And what I'm saying is, versus everything that we've all touched, and we're making this analysis on, man, 3's been hard to come by. You probably get some of the best weather of the year today out there, out in the DC area, and you're getting a Sunday home crowd. And maybe the MLB will bring out by accidentally slip in a juicier ball than the one they had last night or something.
Yeah, and you know what? One other thing we got to look at, and I'll pull it up when we're going into our next one, is umpire. I want to see who's.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I can pull that up in a second. I always like to look at
that's your expertise, folks. If you're on this show for the first time because you're following me, make sure you follow GLOECK and ask him questions about the umps. Man, he knows the umps really well. I don't want to speak for him, but I know he does some coaching and little league stuff for some other leagues out there. So I think he's got his brain vested into that. I think he can see that much better than I can. I just complain about the umps, man, but he probably has stats and insight on them. And I know he does. He shared them before.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But for sure, that's a big factor when I do look at, like I was even watching the game last night, Yankees-White Sox. I think there was a tighter zone for Keuchel, but, he actually pitched decent against the Yankees. But with that said, let me get into one of my full game bets for today.
Let's
go.
That
is the Detroit Tigers. I like the Detroit Tigers minus 145. My expected value on them minus 145 is about 59%. Well, a couple of the places I follow closely have Detroit as a favorite to win this game over 60% of the time. That means I'm getting better value than the market odds. Tariq Skubal, I don't know why people aren't adjusting to him. He's third in WAR on the slate today. He's been fantastic. I mean, he's had one bad start the entire year of his 6. The other 6 have been just almost flawless. He's been pitching so well that for some reason on DK today, he's worth $6,000 when his average is $8,500. I don't know what's happening in the world of slipping of, the mind of Tariq Skubal, but today I'm not going to slip. Baltimore Orioles, 30th in slugging against lefties, 28th in weighted runs created plus, 25th in batting average, and they're still one of the top teams striking out against lefties, 4th in K rate at almost 27%. Skubal today, minus 145. Detroit's already taken the first 2 in the series. Wells hasn't, I don't think he's pitched much in the past against Detroit. There's not a lot of history there, but I'm okay. I think Detroit with little energy here, winning the first 2. Everybody was talking the Orioles are playing better than the Red Sox. I think that's starting to tip now as the Red Sox have won 2 in a row. I like Skubal to continue his brilliance on the mound, surprising brilliance today. I'll take him minus 145 on the money line.
I like it. Listen, and here's why I like. Actually, I don't want anyone to just jump on mine. That's all you. And what I mean by that, it's all that analysis is great. I want to just chime in with one thing, and it's biasness. There's this point last year, midsummer somewhere, where a huge article from Fangraphs about how Skubal. I used to call him Scooby-Doo before this. Yeah. And then I had to give him some respect. He had to put respect on the guy's name. Basically, he went through a pitching arsenal change, and he made some changes. I don't remember it off the top. I remember tweeting about it and just getting really excited seeing things like that. And he's gotten much better since then. I don't know if the numbers will show it. I know he has. I think he's just gotten much better. So just with that said, I'm like, hey, anytime anybody wants to back Skubal, I never disagree with it or argue it. I never go back and even look if they've been right or wrong. I just kind of, I'm like, all right. The only reason I'm staying off the game is when I touch these 2 teams, I'm just terrible. So I'm not trying to have this game happen in something like the wall and left field falls down and they got to delay the game in the next 10 games in Detroit or move the team to Omaha or something. So I'm just going to stay away from the game. You could tell I'm superstitious. The voodoo has been pretty bad here for 2 weeks on my end, but I'm turning it around this weekend since yesterday. And that's why I love Skubal. Skubal, for guys and gals that don't get to pay attention, you have to really respect and admire what Skubal has been trying to do since last summer and making adjustments. It's really hard to make adjustments in the MLB, but it's hard to make adjustments as a pitcher in your career because a lot of times you're stubborn and stuck to your ways. So it's very, very hard. And a lot of times you travel through the systems and staff and coaching and pitching coaching, and you got to deal with your stubbornness multiple times too many. And here you have a pitcher that can adapt to it all and has made changes. So that's my little biasness where I think, hey, you got Skubal here. He's not Scooby-Doo of before. I do think I like Skubal, and that's why that's just my little cherry on top. The weather's warm. It's 82, and that's my take on it.
I love it. Talking Scooby-Doo, let's just say this one thing real fast. There's a dog out there I kind of like too. I want to get your take on this, Tech. We got the White Sox in a classic situation today. Their dogs plus 115, plus 120 in some markets, and it's the classic White Sox versus left-handed pitchers. They get Nestor Cortez today, the king of the mustache in the MLB right now, but hey, they're still doing it versus lefties. They're number 1 in weighted runs created plus. They're number 2 in batting average, 5 in ISO and slugging. They just hit lefties. And this hasn't been a 2022 thing. This, Tech, you've been taking this back for years.
Right.
They just do. And Nestor Cortez, he's interesting, right? He's not going to blow you away with smoke. He sits around 92, but what he has is one of the best movements on his cutters in the league, horizontal, vertical, and it just has a weird delivery that just tends to keep hitters off balance. But I think in this case, in a situation when we have a disciplined team, Robert's starting to hit. I mean, he had the game-winning single last night. Abreu hasn't hit yet. I think he's still in the overslide, but the other guys, Anderson is still hitting. I think we got a good situation here where you could get some good value in the White Sox today. So they would be my dog of the day. Not sure if I'm that confident to go against the best team in baseball, but it's still a great situation for the White Sox.
I agree. And you nailed it. White Sox hit lefties. We know that. We all know that. And I heard a rumor the Yankees have a good record. Is that true?
that is true.
Okay.
I mean, a couple walk-offs and stuff, but that wins a win.
Because I feel like whenever I tried to pay attention, I'm not watching those games, but it looks like I must not be watching too many of the. It must be me. I'll be honest with you. When you're 24-9, I must have been watching all 9 of those games then. In my luck, and I'm not even. Literally must have been on watching or paying attention to all 9 of those losses this year. But with that said, I think what the books may have kind of done just to talk myself to like I'm an idiot or something to myself. It's like, you got to make the Yankees a favorite. They got the #1 record in the league.
Yeah.
But does that mean they're the favorite today? I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
Some games, and you got a White Sox offensive, I'm going to say powerhouse from the right side of the plate. I just checked. It's a platoon lineup. And if for folks that don't know, what that means is when you have a pitcher, for example, that's lefty and Cortez, every batter on the other side of the team is right-handed. So they're what it's called is bringing a platoon lineup. And let's see if I can get it on the fly, some White Sox numbers. But when you have a platoon lineup here, the White Sox now against lefties, they're batting .346 this season where offense is hard to come by. These guys are batting at elite .346 to the left side. Cortez is in for a tough spot here with that, man. If you had to take this game, unless you're just taking it for pride because you're just like, look, I bet every Yankee game, there's no way you should take the Yankees here. I think you get decent odds in your favor running with the White Sox here, and you get the classic White Sox right side powerhouse going against the classic lefty pitcher.
Yeah, I saw some numbers earlier. Kopech, hasn't been great against the Yankees, but it's only like 12 at bats. I think they have 5 hits, so it's nothing great. But when you look at Cortez, splits, I mean, the right side is hitting, almost 200 with a weighted on base average of 260. The left side, 111. So, I mean, you really almost get a 2-for-1 here, right? So you got a better odds. Why not platoon lineup that you said? Stack all rights, try and drive it here. He's walked 10 batters. 10 righties. He's only walked 11 batters this year, 1 lefty. So he seems to have a little bit more trouble trying to get that cutter where he wants it against righties. He's more comfortable against lefties. And I think we got a shot here. And I love the point here. Plus 170, -1. That's balls. And we like balls here at the smoke shop.
Right.
All right, Tech, that's about
one more comment, because it's critical. It's critical. I just landed on it. White Sox had the lowest, and you may have hit this, so sorry. White Sox have the lowest strikeout rate in the league this year at 18.4%. So they're not – look, they're coming in – I don't know. They might come in here trying to hit every home run today, but maybe they're not because they know this is a different type of year. You got to get contact and make some placement hits, right? See where the outfielders are lined up and try to jam it in there. But 18.4, lowest strikeout rate. You got that on top of what we just mentioned of the whole platoon right side going against the lefty pitcher. Those are 2 or 3 critical things that just kind of tell you, take the odds here. I think it's on the White Sox favor of I think us getting the odds is in the White Sox side and us getting that favor and the value in there today. That's my opinion.
I'll ask you this one other thing. I mean, last night Jordan Montgomery went for the Yankees, who is a lefty.
Right.
I mean, there's some value in like splitting up your lefties throughout, a pitching rotation. Now they're actually going to kind of maybe even be a little comfortable in the box. They beat Chapman last night too, another lefty. So I think they've seen a lot of left-handed pitching, which kind of puts them in a good situation again today.
It does. I think so. I think you're right. I didn't think of it like that, but I think so.
Yeah. All right, dude. You got anything else for the people before we get out of here?
No, if people watch NHL, keep an eye, man. These Game 7 lines, if you look at the 60-minute line, the Dogs, too much value. Tampa Bay was plus 155 yesterday. Look, we're at Game 7, man. I think the Penguins are dogs today in the Game 7. That line may have changed. I think Crosby's definitely playing. He was on the ice yesterday skating. He's going to play. They wouldn't let him. They would not have him on the ice even without contact pads if his concussion was that bad. I just think there's some value there in the 60-minute line. I think some of these NHL games in Game 7, you have to put your heart aside. You have to put your analytics aside, and you have to say, wow, there's one out there at 255 odds earlier in the morning. I think the Stars in 60 now. South Jersey guys, we're Johnny hockey fans, but come on, 255 odds. If it wasn't supposed to be there, we wouldn't be at Game 7. So just something to think about tonight. I'm not saying going better, but just something to think about. 60-minute Game 7 lines. And overall in Game 7, these unders seems like where he play even in the NBA. I haven't gone and double checked, but I hear, everyone plays tighter, slower, and more cautious. So unders may be at an advantage overall in any Game 7 scenario for now and the remainder of your playoffs. So something to keep in mind for tonight and down the road.
I love it. As much as I hate the Pittsburgh Penguins, probably my top 4, they're the play today, in my opinion. A team that
I'm with you.
It showed in yesterday, and apologies to the Maple Leafs fans. I think you're one of them, right?
My heart with the Maple Leafs fans, seriously.
But that team you can't, they're like Dracula. You can't kill the Lightning. I don't know what it is, man. You can do what you want. They just find ways. So
here's the deal. The line hasn't moved. They moved $5. 60-minute Penguins DraftKings plus 180. I'm a big Igor fan this year. I have a really good friend of mine, Craig. I don't know if he's watching. He might be out fishing, but he doesn't like Igor. And I was hanging with him last night and we were laughing. But during the year, Igor was hot. Goals, just a square number. The goals against average were low. We saw it. Yeah. But I just think when you got a team like this specific Penguins, and if Crosby's playing, which I'm confident he is. I didn't see if he did morning practice today. I just know he made the team practice yesterday, non-contact, no pads, nothing like that. But he wouldn't be out moving around if it was bad. He's got a history of concussions, so they would definitely have been extremely cautious. Plus 180 in a 60-minute line is ridiculous. I actually won the Tampa plus 155. It wasn't something I shared out, but I did win it to break my bad voodoo. Look, even the game last night, the Oilers game, if you watched it, it was never – you can argue it was one-sided if you want to, but it wasn't. And you can tell that the box score didn't show that. And the Kings were, I think, plus 245 or something like that in 60. Just to give you an idea, if I'm taking something tonight, I'm going Penguins in 60 because the odds are too high, GLOECK. That's just all I'm saying.
I like it. I like it. And you got to – look, when you bet dogs, and we've been in here too, you got to bet with value on your mind. You're not going to win each one, but you win a plus 180, you're good for a couple games, man. So that's the thing. You see better value. You can still say, hey, I think they lose 60% of the time, but if I'm getting plus 180, that's better than a 40% expected returns. I'm there.
Yeah. And I'm with Christopher Adams chiming in here. Sprinkle Pens 1.5. Listen, it's Game 7. You're getting the empty net goal, even if they're up 3 or 4 goals. It's the last stroke of breath the franchise has. So 100% guaranteed you're getting empty net. What are the odds you're going to get the empty net goal? That's just different. But 100% you're getting an empty net in Game 7. That's a fact. So I like what he's saying, sprinkling on the 1.5 if you're down with the Penguins. I agree. I don't know what the odds are, but they're probably good. And I agree.
Yeah, and I mean, I watched Toronto yesterday. They pulled with 2 minutes left. Look, they had to go on. Now, if there wasn't, what they called a forced offsides, you probably would have seen the goalie in for the full 2.
I agree. And if folks haven't caught on, the one thing that they've been doing as these seasons have been going on is they pulled the goalies earlier. Statistics give them more of a power play number of, look, we're out on the ice with the man advantage for X amount of time. So right now the math shows that the more time you have, that might come skewing back in a few seasons and they'll say, all right, cut 10 seconds out or something like that. But right now you're getting them. So he's right. Christopher Adams is right. It's worth it. With what we talked about, it's worth the sprinkle on the 1.5. I don't know the odds, but it's worth it. I'm sure they're good.
I love it. Hey, not just baseball, but some hockey. And if you didn't check it yesterday, check out Betting for Breakfast. We talked Game 7s in the NBA. Yes, the unders are attractive, but there's 2 great Game 7s today. Check it out. Have some fun with the Bucks Celtics as well as the Suns Mavs. And that's it for us today because the games are about to start off and I got to get my popcorn ready. So
Let's go.
For GLOECK. It's been a great show. Hope to catch you again. We'll be here definitely next Sunday, and we're going to start to find out ways to get this going during the week too. So keep an eye on Heat Ratio Sports. Keep an eye on us, and we'll definitely be keeping you up to date. Let's win some money today.
Let's do it. Stay green.
Stay green. Love it. GLOECK Tech.